Casting is a manufacturing process in which material is melted, put into a mold, and cooled. This allows material to take the shape of any mold. The more simple the shape of the mold, the better, as complex molds are more likely to produce impurities. There are many different methods of casting that are used. Examples include green sand molding, which is the most conventional method of casting, die casting, where permanent metal dies are mixed with liquefied metal, and chemical bonded sand molding, where chemicals are mixed with sand to produce a mold. Two specific types of chemical bonded sand molding include shell molding, which uses organic chemicals, and sodium silicate molding, which uses inorganic chemicals. Materials that are used vary depending on the situation. Typically metals are used, but in the case of injection molding, plastics and rubbers are used. The timing and precision of casting depends on the situation. For example, the more complex the molding is, the more precise the casting process has to be in order to ensure there are no impurities in the final product. The timing of this process also depends on the material used, the complexion, and the size of the molding.
Forming and shaping is a process typically done to metals. A metal is formed by applying large amounts of tensile or compressive stress to achieve a desired shape. No metal is added or removed in the process, only the shape is changed. Examples of forming processes are bending the metal into shape, extrusion, which runs metal through a strainer, forging, which is done by heating metals to very high temperatures and hitting it into shape, rolling, which thins out sheet metal by putting it into a roller. Shaping is also done to metals using a machine. In this case, however, the shaping is done by removing metal. A common technique for this is using lasers. The cost and time for forming and shaping depends on the type and amount of metal being used, since some materials are more expensive than others. Different techniques are also more expensive than others, such as laser cutting, which can be very costly. The time depends on the product being made. Some metal products can be very time intensive to form and to shape, and may take hours depending on the technique used.
One key manufacturing process is machining, which is a term that is used to refer to a broad range of technologies and techniques, roughly defined as the process of removing raw materials using power-driven machine tools in order to shape it into an intended design. Most metal components and parts need machining during any manufacturing processes. Other materials such as plastics, woods, ceramics, composites can also be fabricated through several machining processes. There are three major categories of machining tools. 1. Cutting tools. Cutting tools involve single-point or multi-point cutting tools with a clearly defined geometry. Number 2. Abrasive tools. Abrasive tools can include tools such as grinders and non-traditional machining tools such as water jet cutting and electrical discharge machining, also known as EDM. To perform machining, relative motion is required between the tool and the product that is being cut. Any process that requires extremely small cutting tolerances, factors such as stiffness, damping, and geometric accuracy can influence the precision of the cut. Numerical control machining, or CNC machining, is one way of machining that uses a computer-aided technology. This process is a cost-efficient process due to its high turnover speed and low manual labor requirements. And once the machine has been properly coated, it needs minimal maintenance.
Finishing is a broad term that describes a variety of processes that are applied to a manufactured product. Finishing is used to enhance and improve an item so that it is ready for commercial or industrial use. It is the last manufacturing process applied to a part and is applied to metals, plastics, and wood. The finishing process can involve shaping material, adding material, or removing material, depending on the specific process that is applied. Some common finishing processes are electroplating, polishing, and painting. Electroplating is a process that uses electric currents to form a coating on a metal, which adds corrosion protection and improves the longevity of the part. Electroplating can vary in time and cost depending on the size of the part. Polishing is another common finishing process, which is used to create a smooth and shiny surface on a metal or wood. This is done to improve the strength of the product as well as the aesthetic. Other examples of finishing processes include galvanizing, coating, and grinding. These processes improve the electrical, chemical, and thermal properties of the parts they are applied to.
Joining is a manufacturing process that involves connecting several individual parts together rather than manufacturing one large item at once. Methods of joining include welding, soldering, brazing, using adhesives, and mechanical fastening. Welding is the most common method and is defined as joining metal pieces together by melting their surfaces. Different types of welding include fusion welding, which uses chemicals, oxy-fuel gas welding, which utilizes a gas and oxygen mixture to create a flame, and arc welding, which turns electrical energy into an arc that can heat up to temperatures as hot as 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Soldering is the process in which two metals are joined together by melting and a filler metal is put into the joint. Brazing is similar to soldering, but brazing typically uses higher temperatures than soldering. In welding, brazing, and soldering, metals are the main material that can be utilized. When using adhesives and fastening methods, other materials are utilized. Joining is a relatively cost-effective method and is also very economical.